music room designed to engage kids in unique ways. It reportedly took several years to put together, and it's bringing music therapy to children with disabilities in France. Whether they have intellectual, physical, or sensory disabilities, the men who created these systems wanted the children to use them to experience Bach, Mozart, and the instruments of the orchestra in an environment that has no constraints. It utilizes unique triggers, swings, balls, water guns. They're connected to computers and speakers that immerse kids in sound and encourage them to make more of it. The systems have been repeatedly tested by children, then refined and adapted to their unique needs and interests. And one man said as soon as his son arrives, he starts playing, making music, making connections, and copying the actions of his therapist, who says the virtue of music is that it's a journey. Fridays are awesome, and it makes our day to be part of yours. I'm Carl Azuz for The World from A to Z. On Thursday, U.S. President Donald Trump made another move toward eliminating the U.S. Education Department, but it's not clear if that'll actually happen. Here's what this is all about. The American Education Agency started operating in 1980. Its roles include bringing national attention to education issues, ensuring equal access to education while preventing discrimination, and distributing federal funds for education programs and people in need. The department manages $1.4 trillion in student loans. It receives roughly $80 billion each year from the federal government, and $20 billion of that goes to state and local governments. Public grade schools get most of their funding from state and local sources. The money they get from the federal government is less than 10% of their yearly revenue. So it's not likely that eliminating federal assistance would shut down most schools. Critics of the department say the Constitution does not mention education as a job of the federal government, and that more educational decisions should be made by the states.
Oftentimes what's concocted in Washington, D.C. when it goes out to Montana doesn't exactly fit.
They also say the department hasn't significantly improved outcomes like math or reading scores or closed the achievement gap between the richest and poorest students. Supporters of the department say the opportunities it provides are central to America's success and not government waste, and that eliminating the department aims a wrecking ball at the futures of 50 million students without fixing education. They also say minority and low-income students would be unfairly impacted by the move.
It only hurts the most vulnerable, our children.
Though a Trump administration official says money for low-income schools and students with disabilities won't change. So what happens next? Experts say the administration may have the authority to reduce the agency's funding and the number of people who work there, which it's already moved to do. But it does not have the authority to completely abolish the department. That would take an act of Congress, and legal challenges to all of this are reportedly in the works. The department's existence made good on a campaign promise by Democratic President Jimmy Carter. The attempt to eliminate it makes good on a campaign promise by Republican President Donald Trump. This issue has divided their parties for 45 years.
Word knowledge. While serving time in Alcatraz prison in the 1930s, American gangster Al Capone played what instrument? Banjo, drums, guitar, trumpet. In a prison band called the Rock Islanders, which gave concerts on Sundays, Capone reportedly played the banjo.
On this date in world history. One of the world's most infamous prisons closed its door on this date in 1963. Alcatraz was located on a 22-acre island about a mile off the coast of San Francisco. It held some of America's most dangerous criminals, including Al Capone, and was almost impossible to escape from. The prison's now a museum. America's first boycott of an Olympic Games was declared on this date in 1980. President Jimmy Carter said U.S. athletes would not be heading to the Summer Games in Moscow after the Soviet Union failed to remove its troops from Afghanistan. The Soviet Union retaliated by pulling its athletes from the 1984 Summer Games in Los Angeles. And the world's very first tweet was sent out on this date in 2006. Co-founder Jack Dorsey sent the world a message saying, "Just setting up my Twitter." It sparked an internet revolution, with some estimates saying the number of tweets since then have been over 1 trillion and counting.
History isn't only in textbooks, it's all around you. At Educational Travel Adventures, we take students beyond the classroom and out into the world. Your adventure starts here.
Watching grass grow might not seem like the most interesting job, but it has the full attention of crews at Tennessee and Michigan State University. The World Cup is coming to North America, and these folks are on a mission to create the perfect pitch for FIFA's World Cup matches.
It'll be some sleepless nights, but it won't be without some great rewards and some great challenges.
North American fields have a track record for, let's just say, scruffy surfaces, as seen the last time the U.S. hosted a World Cup and at the recent Copa America tournament. The 2026 World Cup will be the first with 3 host countries, with a lot more teams competing, increasing from 32 to 48. That means more games, and more games require more world-class venues.
All World Cup games must be natural turf. So if they've got to be natural turf, and they're going to be inside this NFL stadium, we're going to have to build a temporary field. And 8 of the 16 stadiums are going to require a temporary field across these 3 countries.
Many NFL stadiums use synthetic turf, but some say the fake grass can hinder an athlete's movement on the field. Swapping it out for the real stuff might not seem like a big deal, but it's also a safety issue. Hard turf surfaces actually pose a higher risk of injury to athletes. A 2018 study of the NFL found that non-contact injuries occurred nearly 20% more often on turf than on real grass. So researchers are meticulously caring for and testing how different grasses will perform, how a ball bounces, what happens when cleats make contact. Even tiny imperfections can skew the precision of a pass.
What they really need in soccer is the predictability of that ball, so that when it's rolling at them, they know exactly how it's going to roll or not roll, bounce or not bounce.
The research can be pretty thankless work, but these grass growers aren't after recognition.
Nobody mentions the field, we know we've done our job.
What day is it?
March 21st is Rosie the Riveter Day. It pays tribute to the women who joined the American workforce during World War II, supporting the economy and the Allies' victory.
Today is also National Memory Day. We were going to do a segment on that, but we forgot. But we still remembered the Romans of Los Angeles High School. That's where Miss Rodriguez and her students are watching in Los Angeles, the Golden State of California. Moving east, we come to the Show Me State of Missouri. Hello to Mrs. Nutter's class, joining us from Lawson Middle School, the home of the Cardinals in Lawson. And in the Keystone State, we arrive in the city of Pittston, where the Patriots are online, and Mrs. Holly's class, Pittston Area Senior High School, is in Pennsylvania. If you watched yesterday, you know it's officially spring, but it's still plenty cold in southwestern Finland. At a frozen lake there, an inventor recently cut out an ice carousel, which looks just what it sounds like, and a solar-powered outboard motor kept it rotating. Some locals stuck a couple saunas on it so they could feel some warmth while their heads were spinning in the cold, but it only lasted a day because overnight lows of 5 degrees froze it all up again. Building another would be a tough carousel. Maybe they'll still take another turn because you can never tell when a Colden opportunity will circle back your way. You'd be clockwise to give another spin if ice will stay and rotate upon the lake so you can circle up and see how we've come round full circle on the world from A to Z. I'm Carl Jesus, and we hope your weekend is cool as ice. Can't wait to see you again. You mean the world to me.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.